Hi parents, with Sakamani here. This video will explain the game called Math Addition. So again, I've linked in the slide deck to the Google Docs so you could see exactly what I'm describing here. So this game can be done with 1, 2, or 3 dice depending on how much you want to challenge your student, depending on where they're at. So it will work on adding numbers. So for the purposes of this game, I'm going to use 2 dice. So if you're using 1 dice, you're working on numbers 1 through 6. If you're using 2 dice, you're working on numbers 2 through 12. And if you choose 3 dice, you're working on numbers 3 through 18. So for this game, I'm just going to play with 2 dice. My students should be playing at 2 dice. Most of them are very good with their numbers 1 to 12. If you want to challenge them more, move into 3. So what you do is you take a sticky note or sticky pad and you write the numbers on them, like so, and then you find a surface in your home, and it could be anywhere, a table, the floor, a wall, wherever you want, and you are going to lay out the numbers. So I'm using 2 dice, so my numbers would be 2 to 12. And that's what I'm laying down in front of you. I wrote them prior to the video, obviously. And put them out of order. I don't want to see them in order because we want to challenge our students, your children, as much as we can. I've just done numbers 2 through 12. And I've only done 1 of each for the purpose of this video. If you want to make the game last longer, do numbers 2 through 12 a couple times over, or add 3 number 8s, 2 number 7s, 4 number 9s, to make the game go longer. So what you do is you take your 2 dice and you roll it on the table. And if you see here, I got numbers 6 and 3. So what the students would need to do is they need to add these numbers together. So I always actually come close and you can take a look at the dice. I always tell them the strategy that I'm trying to teach them right now is counting on. So we take that bigger number and we say it's 6 and we count on or we count up. 6, 7, 8, 9. And then they'd have to find the 9 on the table and collect it. And then that's theirs. And then for everyone they collect, again, you can make a game out of it. They can get a prize or a reward. Or you don't have to do that either. You can maybe, what actually would be really fun? I'd time the students to see how quickly they can get rid of all the stickies. So in that case, you'd only do every number once. That would be a really fun way to play this game. So then I'll roll again. And then we have 5 and 4. So you take the bigger number and you say it. 5 and you count up. 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, 9's already gone, so I'm not doing so good right now. Okay, 2, 3. So I find my 3 and I take it and I put aside. Then we'll roll again. And the number is 3 and 1. So those ones that are smaller numbers will be quick. The student should know right away that 3 plus 1 equals 4. So you take the 4 sticky and you put it away. It's those bigger numbers, like when you get 6 and 6 or 5 and 6 or 5 and 3. Say that bigger number and then count up or count on. And then if you want to challenge your child or make this game a little bit harder, every time that they roll the dice, they can actually write out the equation. So for example, if I rolled out my dice and I have a 6 and a 1, you could have them write it. You can go 6 plus 1 and then equals, and then you'd have to ask them 7. That would be, but that's more challenging, right? Not many students are at this point. This is an equation. And the language here, like the sum and the plus, or the add, you'd have to explain the symbols to them as well if you wanted to do it this way, but it is a great activity that I'm sure a lot of my students could do. So that's one way of doing it. Or if you want to simplify this and this is too hard for them, you can go like a 6. You can actually draw out the dice. 6 plus 1 equals, and then you could draw 7 dots. Something like that. So those are variations of this game. So thanks, parents.